Let's be honest, the reason she can't stop thinking about you at night isn't what most men assume. It's not just your looks, your charm, or even the way you make her laugh. What's happening in her mind is far deeper, far more intricate, and it's tied to something you may have been ignoring all along: the subtle power of emotional resonance. Women don't just respond to who you are on the surface, they respond to how you make them feel at the very core of their being. And when that connection hits, it doesn't just fade when the night falls. It lingers, haunting her thoughts, lingering in the shadows of her mind. Think about this. She goes to bed, the world quiets down, and suddenly there's space. Space for her emotions, her reflections, her unspoken desires. And it's here in the silence where your impact on her mind becomes undeniable. It's not always about the big gestures or the dramatic moments. It's the quiet ways you make her feel understood, safe, and seen. That subtle attention, that small act of awareness when she thinks no one is noticing, plants a seed in her subconscious. And the mind, especially a woman's mind wired for emotional complexity, never forgets seeds planted in fertile ground. Here's the kicker most men miss. It's not enough to just be present physically. She's thinking about you because of what you awaken inside her. The mix of curiosity, anticipation, desire, and yes, even a little fear of losing something she can't quite define. These are powerful triggers that make her replay moments in her head over and over again. Every text, every glance, every subtle expression you showed has become a part of her nighttime ritual. It's a puzzle she's subconsciously trying to solve. Why does he linger in my mind when he's not here? Why do I feel this pull, this tension I can't control? That tension is magnetic, and it's something no casual encounter can replicate. Now, here's where emotional mastery comes into play. If you're aware of how a woman's mind operates, you can learn to guide these thoughts in your favor, not through manipulation, but by understanding the psychology behind it. Emotional triggers aren't tricks. They're the language she naturally responds to. And when you speak this language, she thinks about you because she wants to, not because she feels trapped or obligated. The difference is monumental. One creates desire, the other creates guilt or resentment. Men who understand this, who respect the depth of a woman's emotional landscape, are the ones who linger in her mind long after the day ends. Tonight, as she closes her eyes, she isn't just seeing you, she's feeling you. Your presence has seeped into her consciousness in a way that matters. And if you learn to cultivate this energy consciously, the thoughts that consume her nights won't just be fleeting. They'll be compelling, magnetic, irresistible. So here's the truth that most men don't realize. It's not about chasing. It's not about performing. And it's certainly not about proving yourself. It's about connecting on a level that goes beyond words, beyond appearances, beyond superficial attraction. And when you do this, she won't just think about you at night. She'll wonder how she ever slept without it. The reason she can't stop thinking about you at night often comes down to one thing: emotional contrast. Women are wired to notice the highs and lows, the tension and release, the mystery and clarity. She doesn't just remember what you said, she remembers how you made her feel, especially when it shook her expectations. That small unpredictability, the spark of uncertainty mixed with comfort, keeps her mind looping over moments she can't quite pin down. She's replaying your energy in her head, trying to understand why she feels something so intense for someone who, on the surface, might just look normal. Think about this for a second. Every man she's encountered before you created patterns, predictable patterns, safe patterns, boring patterns. Then you show up and suddenly those patterns break. Maybe it's the way you listen, not just hear her words, but actually understand what she's not saying. Maybe it's the way you can be playful one moment and serious the next. Like you hold contradictions that intrigue her instead of boring her. That's the invisible force that plants you in her mind. Emotional contrast creates tension. Tension fuels attention. And attention, real attention, breeds obsession, even if she doesn't admit it to herself. Here's where most men get it wrong. They think being consistent means being predictable. It doesn't. It means being reliable in how you make her feel while allowing the moments of unpredictability to keep her hooked. She isn't thinking about you at night because you never make mistakes. She's thinking about you because you've created experiences that awaken parts of her she didn't even know existed. She's dissecting your interactions, remembering the flicker in your eyes, the slight hesitation in your voice, the way your presence lingered in a room even after you left. Now, let's go deeper. Her mind doesn't separate attraction from curiosity. When she lays awake, she's not just feeling desire. She's analyzing, reflecting, imagining scenarios where she might get closer to understanding you or herself through you. Every emotion you trigger, whether excitement, longing, or even frustration, is a brushstroke on the canvas of her thoughts. And the more vivid and unexpected the strokes, the more she keeps revisiting them. This is not manipulation, it's psychology. Women are wired for complexity, and your energy can either ignite that complexity or fade into the background. The truth that few men grasp is that being unforgettable isn't about grand gestures. It's about precision, subtlety, and emotional resonance. It's in how you handle a pause in conversation, how you respond when she's vulnerable, how you make her feel like she's understood even when words fail. This is the power of emotional contrast. Balancing intensity with calm, mystery with clarity, presence with absence. It's in that balance that she finds herself unable to let go. So the next time you wonder why she texts late at night or sends a random message during the day, remember she's thinking about more than your face or your voice. She's thinking about the way you made her feel, the subtle friction, the pull, the magnetic tension you've created without even trying. And that, my friend, is the invisible thread keeping her mind circling back to you when the lights go out. What keeps her awake at night thinking about you isn't random. It's a combination of desire, intrigue, and the way you've embedded yourself into her emotional blueprint. Women remember patterns of energy, not just events. She's replaying moments in her mind where she felt something she can't easily label: excitement, vulnerability, curiosity, even longing. And when those feelings clash with her attempts to remain rational, it creates a kind of mental tension that she can't switch off. That tension is what makes her thoughts spiral toward you when she's alone. Here's a truth most men overlook: emotional triggers outweigh logic every time. She may tell herself she shouldn't feel so strongly about you, that you're just a guy, but emotions don't obey instructions. She feels, she reacts, she remembers. Every time you surprised her, challenged her subtly, or simply held space for her without judgment, you created a mental bookmark. Her brain keeps returning to those bookmarks because they felt rare, precious, and potent. Women don't just think about your actions, they think about the effect you had on them, and that effect lingers longer than the moment itself. Think about late night hours when she's scrolling or staring at the ceiling, wondering why she can't stop thinking about you. What she's really experiencing is your emotional footprint. It's subtle, invisible, but it's there. Every playful tease, every meaningful compliment, every time you made her feel understood without her asking, all of these are mental echoes. And here's the fascinating part: the mind amplifies these echoes in isolation. When no one else is around and distractions fade, her subconscious magnifies every sensation, making you loom larger in her thoughts than in reality. Now, let's dissect what most men miss. She isn't obsessing over your face, your voice, or even your humor alone. She's obsessing over the combination of emotions you create: the pull of attraction, the curiosity of mystery, the warmth of understanding, and yes, even the frustration of not fully decoding you. That mixture produces an irresistible mental tension. It's like a melody she can't get out of her head, playing softly but persistently every night. You don't have to do anything dramatic for this to happen. Even small gestures delivered with presence and authenticity can trigger this effect. Here's where most men falter. They confuse intensity with obsession. Obsession isn't about being loud, aggressive, or constantly present. It's about embedding yourself emotionally in a way that naturally draws her mind back to you. The moments that matter are often subtle, the ones she can't fully articulate. You've already created a pattern of emotional resonance. That pattern is sticky. It lingers in her subconscious. And that's why she wakes up thinking about you, why your absence feels like an echo she can't escape. So understand this: the magnetic pull she feels isn't a mystery. It's a result of how your energy interacts with hers. It's the tension between attraction and understanding, presence and absence, mystery and clarity. And when you learn to wield that awareness consciously, You can influence not just her attention, but her emotional engagement. Because at the end of the day, what she's thinking about in the quiet of night isn't just you. It's how you made her feel alive in ways no one else has yet. She can't stop thinking about you at night because your presence, your energy, and even your absence create a ripple in her emotional landscape. Women are hyper aware of subtleties, and the brain stores these subtle cues like treasure. That glance that lingered a second too long, the way you listened when no one else did, the faint smile you gave when she said something vulnerable. These small moments are magnified in her mind. Every one of them becomes a reference point she revisits when the world is quiet and she's alone. Here's the key most men completely miss. It's not about doing grand gestures or flashy displays, it's about precision and subtlety. Women notice micro moments that escape the average man's perception. When you create contrast between intensity and calm, curiosity and clarity, she becomes mentally entangled. For instance, if you show confidence without arrogance, mystery without distance, and warmth without neediness, she subconsciously starts to catalog these traits. Her brain treats them like anomalies in the monotony of everyday life. And anomalies get attention, especially in moments of quiet reflection. Think about it. She might not text you immediately, or she might even act distant during the day, but at night, her mind drifts back to every interaction where she felt something extraordinary. That is not a coincidence. The human mind craves emotional resolution. When you create meaningful tension, moments that challenge her expectations while making her feel safe, her subconscious keeps replaying those scenarios, trying to decode the mystery. And this replaying strengthens the connection even when she tries to push it away consciously. Now, let's break down why absence intensifies her preoccupation. When you're not around, the void you leave acts like a magnet. Your energy, your words, your subtle presence, they all echo louder when there's silence. Women are wired to process emotions deeply when no distractions are present. She may scroll through her phone, stare at the ceiling, or let her mind wander. And each time she recalls one of your micro moments, the emotional charge strengthens. This is why a single smile, a carefully chosen word, or a shared joke can dominate her thoughts hours, sometimes days after it happened. The final piece most men fail to grasp is the role of emotional memory. Women retain feelings more vividly than facts. She doesn't just remember what you said, she remembers how she felt when you said it. And these feelings are triggered every time something in her environment reminds her of you. A song, a scent, a place, all of it can bring you back to the forefront of her mind. The more unique the emotions you evoke, the more she's compelled to think about you. So, the real reason she can't stop thinking about you at night isn't because of what you do intentionally, but because of the way you affect her subconsciously. You've created emotional imprints that linger long after the day ends. And here's the most powerful insight. When you understand and respect this psychological reality, you don't need to chase her attention. It naturally returns to you again and again, like gravity pulling her thoughts into your orbit. What keeps her awake at night thinking about you isn't just attraction. It's a reflection of her unspoken needs and hidden desires, the ones she doesn't openly share with anyone. Women carry layers of emotional complexity that most men never fully notice. She craves connection, validation, understanding, and a sense of being seen in a way that goes beyond the superficial. And when you manage to touch even one of these layers authentically, you create a mental loop she can't easily escape. Think about it. She's probably asking herself questions she wouldn't dare say out loud. Why does he make me feel understood when no one else does? Why do I feel drawn to him even when I know I shouldn't? Why does his absence feel heavier than anyone else's presence? These questions are fueled by her subconscious awareness that you've activated emotions she starved for, emotions she didn't realize she was craving. And the human mind, especially hers, is compelled to revisit these experiences repeatedly, searching for clarity, comfort, or resolution. Here's what most men miss entirely. It's not about perfection. She doesn't want a flawless man. She wants the man who evokes her emotions in ways that resonate deeply. Vulnerability, confidence, unpredictability, and presence create a cocktail of feelings that she finds intoxicating. Each subtle interaction leaves a mark on her emotional landscape. And because she rarely encounters these experiences, her mind latches onto them like a lifeline. That is why she thinks about you, why she dreams about scenarios that may never happen, why your face lingers in her mind long after your last interaction. Now let's get deeper. Her mental focus on you is amplified by desire mixed with curiosity. She wants to understand you, not to control you, but to decode the enigma that fascinates her. Every word you say, every glance, every pause is analyzed subconsciously. Your energy becomes a puzzle. She instinctively tries to solve even when her conscious mind tells her not to. That tension between understanding and mystery is a psychological trigger that keeps her awake at night thinking about you when she's alone. The emotional imprint you leave is strengthened when you balance accessibility with subtle challenge. Too available and her mind loses interest. Too distant and frustration grows. But the right balance creates obsession. She remembers moments where you held her attention effortlessly, moments where she felt excitement, longing, or intrigue. Those memories are replayed, amplified, and woven into her nightly thoughts. Emotional depth, unpredictability, and authenticity combine to make you unforgettable, even in her quietest hours. So, here's the real secret most men never grasp. She's not thinking about you randomly. She's thinking about how you made her feel, how you touched emotions that lie dormant most of the time. Desire, intrigue, emotional resonance, and subtle tension create a magnetic pull she can't resist. And if you understand this, you realize that the way to occupy her mind isn't through chase or drama. It's through presence, authenticity, and the ability to awaken feelings she's never experienced before. That is the hidden psychology of why she can't stop thinking about you at night. By now, you understand that the reason she can't stop thinking about you at night isn't random, accidental, or superficial. It's the invisible architecture you've created in her mind, the emotional triggers, the contrasts, the subtle cues, and the resonance of your energy. Every interaction, every glance, every carefully balanced moment has contributed to a pattern that she can't easily shake. And in the silence of the night, when the world quiets down and distractions fade, her mind circles back to you because that pattern is now embedded in her subconscious. Here's the truth most men never realize. Women think about men the way an artist thinks about a masterpiece. She doesn't just see you, she experiences you. She feels your presence long after it has physically disappeared. Your voice, your laughter, the way you made her feel seen, all of it becomes a mental echo, and her mind naturally returns to those echoes, replaying them, analyzing them, trying to decode why she feels something so intense. The magnetic pull isn't about controlling her attention. It's about the emotional depth you've created that she subconsciously craves. Now let's dig into why this matters. If you understand the psychology behind her nightly thoughts, you realize that being unforgettable isn't about chasing, proving, or performing. It's about emotional mastery, the art of creating experiences, even subtle ones, that leave a lasting imprint. It's the micro moments of attentiveness, curiosity, unpredictability, and authenticity that make her think about you over and over again. It's the balance between presence and absence, clarity and mystery, warmth and challenge. This balance is what makes her mind gravitate toward you night after night, even when she tries to deny it consciously. Think about the times when you've left her smiling, laughing, or quietly mesmerized. Think about the subtle ways you made her feel understood, desired, or intrigued. Those are the moments that matter. They're the moments that linger, intensify, and create a psychological imprint she can't ignore. And the fascinating thing is that you don't have to do anything over the top to achieve this. You just need to be mindful of how your energy interacts with hers, how your words and actions resonate emotionally, and how your presence or strategic absence leaves room for her mind to wander toward you. So here's the ultimate takeaway. She thinks about you at night because you've activated her emotions in ways no one else has. You've created curiosity, desire, and emotional tension that she can't resolve even when she wants to. You've become unforgettable, not because of superficial charm, but because you've reached into her subconscious and left a mark. And that is the power every man can learn if he understands female psychology and emotional resonance. Now, here's a question for you, something to reflect on and share in the comments. If you multiply the moments of emotional connection you create with her curiosity, what is the result in her mind? Write your answer below. And if this resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear